I think that on a comparative basis to last year, we're looking at a holiday shopping season that's going to be more benign. I think it'll be on net actually milder than the weather we had last year. I think there'll be fewer sort of traffic limiting events. That's based primarily on statistics and regressing back to the mean, which typically is what happens with weather. So all in all, I'm actually pretty bullish for retail weather as we go into the season. And I think this polar plunge that we're seeing right now is really happening just in time, especially for department store retailers who basically had a little bit of a slowdown in October, and a lot of them attributed it to the fact that it was the fourth warmest October on record.
Paul, let me ask you this. I obviously am not a meteorologist, but the Farmer's Almanac says that this year could be even worse than last year. What do you know that they didn't?
Well, I'd say trust but verify with the Farmer's Almanac. It's an interesting publication they put out, and we are actually expecting that we may see a colder than normal winter. But relative to last year, it's very unlikely that we'll see conditions that are worse. So we don't expect it to be more polar vortexy than last year. And I just made that word up, by the way.
I like that.
And so overall, I think I'm actually thinking that it's going to be a pretty strong holiday season, and I think it's going to be stronger this year for sort of non-seasonal items, so electronics and toys, I think. And traffic will likely be up because, again, the likelihood of seeing the same frequency of bad weather type events as last year is lower. It doesn't mean, however, that they won't happen, and so we will see snow, we'll still see cold weather.
Hey, Jan, I know that you're pretty optimistic about the holiday shopping season, too. Are you worried by any of these snowy days that you see at this point? Does any of this change your mind about that?
No, right now I'm doing my happy dance over what I just heard. So, it couldn't be better to have somebody tell me that the weather's not going to be as bad as last year. I've been saying all along, we can't have the worst weather in 50 years again this year. So, yes,
right.
Worst weather in 51 years this year.
We could, but I don't think so. The odds are with us. But right now, what's happened so far is not a big deal at all. As a matter of fact, it's just what we said. We've got this really cold weather, so everybody that didn't have their coat, didn't have their gloves, didn't have their scarf and hat, they're out buying them. They'll be out buying them right through the holiday. This is about as good as it gets when you have this big, bad cold snap well in advance of when you want to sell the product.
Yeah, I will admit that I've been in the market for snow boots for the kids, for jumpers, for all of those things that maybe I would have waited a little longer to buy.
I went through that search already.
Right.
I had to find my hat and my gloves and my scarf just the other day. And so everybody's doing the same thing, and a whole bunch of people aren't finding them. They'll be out buying them because people need to replenish that kind of stuff.